Hello, this is Sarah with Posh Pooch Designs, and today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make this fun football headband, and it works great as an ear warmer too. Put it on your head when the temperature gets cool in the evening, slip it over your ears. Perfect for whatever football game you're going to. It's a really simple pattern. I'd even put it as a beginner because you're basically stitching single crochets, and we'll also be stitching in back loop only, and that's what gives it the stretchiness. What you're going to need is some brown and some white worsted weight number 4, and we're going to be using Red Heart with Love today. This one was a little bit lighter brown, and we're going to be using this darker brown today. This is more like the gingerbread brown. You're also going to need a needle because we need to sew our stitches on here, and of course you'll need a pair of scissors. This is a free pattern on my blog, and I'll put this blog link in the comments so that you'll have that. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be starting with brown, and you're going to need to chain 11 chains, which I've already done. And then we're going to be stitching single crochets. You're going to start in the second chain from the hook, 1, 2, and we're going to stitch 1 single crochet in each single crochet in each chain across for a total of 10 single crochets. One thing I recommend when you do your beginning chain to chain a little bit loose, because if you're a tight crocheter, that is, because when we get done we're going to be attaching the ends together, and we're going to need to be able to single crochet in those chains. And if you crochet tightly, it can be kind of puckery too when you go to put it together. Alright, chain 1 does not count as a stitch, it's just a turning chain. And now we're going to be stitching in the back loops. And if you can see on here, you have front loops and back loops. Your front loops face you and your back loops face away. And we're going to be stitching in those back loops. So we're going to place 1 single crochet in each of those back loops across. Just slide your hook right through that back loop and stitch a single crochet. And this is how we form those ridges that makes the headband nice and stretchy and makes it stay put on your head. Now this pattern does fit about a 19 to 20 inch head, and so you may have to adjust a little if your head is bigger or smaller. I like goodness, I like my headbands to be a little bit snug because I don't want them to fall off. I would be just upset if I lost one. Plus it falls off and messes up your hair. So there you can see the ridge forming. All right, let's do it. Whoops, got caught in a little knot there. Let's do another one. Get my hook in there. Again, on every row, we're going to be putting 10 single crochets, working in the back loops only. So I'm going to bring this up close so you can see right there in that back loop. That back loop. Oops, lost my string there. There we go. And like I said, this forms those ridges. It makes it nice and stretchy. Now when it comes time to change colors, let me show you. I'm going to turn it this way so that you can see. You're going to do 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26 stitches like rows like this. Then you're going to be changing to white, and I'm going to show you how to do the white and how to change colors. So what you'll do before you do your chain 1, you'll take your white, make a loop on your hook like that and pull it through, Snug that brown down. Do not cut the brown off, because we're only doing one row of white there and then row back, and that will keep you from something that you have to weave in later. Okay, then we're going to do a chain 1 with our white, and then we're going to turn, and you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to put 1 single crochet in each single crochet across, and this represents that white stripe on the football. Alrighty, we get to the end, chain 1, and we're going to work right back across, working again in those back loops. Alrighty, almost there. I'm going to show you how we do this when we change back to our brown. There's our white, and we're going to go ahead and cut. Make sure you give yourself a few inches so we can weave that in. And now we're going to go back to our brown. So we're going to hook our brown back in like this. Snug down that white. Chain 1 with your brown. And if it loosens up, just snug it back down. And see how that's got a loop there? That one's too big, so I'm going to redo it, because you want it to lay nice and flat. Part of my problem is I got a knot in my yarn there. Okay. We're going to pull that in, snug that down. We don't want that loop there to be very big. And then we'll put our chain 1. There we go. And then we'll just go ahead and do what we were doing before. 1 single crochet in each single crochet across, working in the back loops only. Now I want to show you this one I have been working on, and you can see I did the 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, and this one is a little bit smaller because this one's a smaller size, because I measured it for my granddaughter's head. So I only did 20 instead of 26 here. And then I did the white ones. And then we did 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 here. And on this one, I believe it's the same. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. And then we changed back to the white. I'm actually showing you the back side. Let's look at the front side. And then we did the same amount here that we did here. So you want this one and this one to be the same amount. And this is where you're going to take your measurement differences. In other words, this one's going to fit an 18 to 20 inch head. And so I have 26 here and 26 here. But this one is only going to fit a 14 to 16 inch head. And so I've got 20 here and 20 here, because her head's a little bit smaller because she's only 4. Okay, so we've done both sides, our white stripes. And make sure you weave those ends in using a needle. All right, now, once we get the length that we want, we need to put it together. But before we put it together, I like to sew the stitches on, because it's a little bit easier than once you sew it and you got to work inside. So what we're going to do is we're going to sew our stitches on. And so what you'll do, we've got 10 stitches, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to come up on 4, 5, and 6. We're going to come up from underneath, and we're going to go right on top of that ridge. And we're going to go in this 3rd stitch. We're going to come up right in the center like this so that we can go down straight. And I just put my finger there because I don't want this one to come up. Okay, there's our center. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put a stripe on each of the ribs. Like, we're going to go down, and we'll come right back up. Put my thumb there to hold it. And remember, don't do this too tight or you'll lose your stretchiness. So you want to leave it a little bit loose. Not crazy loose, but a little bit. And then we're going to go across here and make a stitch. And then we'll go to the next ridge. Actually, I think it might look better if we do a long stitch. I use my thumb just to hold it in place. Make a nice long stitch like that. Either way is fine. It doesn't really matter as long as it looks like the football stitches, but I kind of like it like that. And if you put one on each of the ribs and just kind of give it a little bit of a pull, making sure it's not too tight, because you don't want it to look funny when you're wearing it, because the striping is holding it from being nice and stretchy. And then we'll go right down underneath there. And another thing to remember is make sure you go, when you're stitching these on, that you go through a stitch, not through a hole, or you'll lose the stitch in the hole. I'm going to go through the stitch part. See, like here I went through a hole, lost the corner of my stitch. So I'm going to pull that out and fix it. There we go. Because I don't want that to pull. If you go through a hole like that, you lose your length and everything. It just doesn't stay put. So you want to go in that stitch. There we go. Go right back where you were. Oh, that's much better. All right, we got a couple more to do here. Get in that stitch. Now, if you want to measure down the middle and make sure it's all nice and tidy, you certainly can. I usually just eyeball them because they do get a little stretchy. We're on our last rib. Put that down through there. And we're going to turn this over because this is the back. We're just going to weave that in. Just a couple of loops. And if you go through the stitches on the back side, they won't show. And then we want to do this side, and we don't want this side to come out. That needle in there, or that yarn in that needle. Oops. There we go. All right. We're just going to make a couple of stitches. All right, so the stitching's done. See how easy this is? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put the two ends together. And we're going to use this side here. And we're going to single crochet going through both stitches. And you should have a total of 10 stitches across. So we're going to go through that first one and go through that chain at the beginning. Oops. Popped right out. There we go. I was in the wrong stitch. There we go. Alrighty. Now we're going to go through and make a single crochet. I keep losing this yarn. Alrighty. And I also suggest on this row you single crochet just a little loose. Don't go too tight because you want it to stay stretchy. And you may have to ease that chain out a little if you didn't stitch loosely. That's why it's good to stitch loosely on some things. All right, we're just working across the top here. One, two, and the last one. All righty, so now we've stitched both sides together. We're going to cut that off. We'll use our needle and weave that in. I'm just going to pull it in for now and just loop those together on the inside so that you can see. And that's our little girl's headband. Now you can add, see how this one's quite a bit bigger? You can add, I put a pom-pom, you can put buttons, ribbons, whatever you want for your team colors. Isn't that adorable? I just love them. Super easy. I think it really is a beginner project because it is super, super easy.